Hello and welcome to Out of Our Box. I'm Ricky and I'm here with my co-host and good friend Aaron. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks, man. You?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Yes, we are here, and in this episode, we'll explore the cruel execution techniques that reveal the depths of human cruelty and the macabre fascination with suffering. Delve into the darker aspects of human existence and uncover the sadistic and depraved methods that have been employed throughout the ages. From ancient civilizations to modern times, torture and execution has been hauntingly entwined with the fabric of our society. These methods often reflect the values and beliefs of the cultures that employ them, painting a disturbing picture of humanity's capacity for cruelty. So let's get into it. These are five of the worst ways of torture and execution through history in part one of this episode. And first up, number one, we have the brazen bull. Well,
Yeah, a particularly bad one.
straight off the top, made of brass, iron, or bronze. The brazen bull torture device of ancient Greece was supposedly used to roast victims to death, transforming their screams into the sound of a bull.
Yeah,
That's very harsh.
I want to know how the ingenuity behind it. They're like, all right, we want to teach this person a lesson. Let's put them in a metal ball and then light a fire underneath
Mental. Yeah,
it.
man. Um, Created in the 6th century BC, it was designed to be particularly gruesome. The device was a hollow brass statue crafted to resemble a real bull, in which the victims were placed before a fire was lit beneath it. The metal would naturally become extremely hot, causing the person inside to suffer a painful death.
You wouldn't have thought that would take very long, would you?
You wouldn't. I mean, I don't know much room they have inside it. I mean, I suppose it depends on
Yeah,
the
well, you
human.
think of how big a ball is. They're quite big, but like being forced in there, there's no way you'd be able to get away from it. You'd have the heat coming from the bottom, and then you'd be thinking, "Oh, I'll try and crawl up and out of the way," but everything's just going to be roasting hot instantly, and there's going to be no air in there.
Yeah, it's not good, mate.
I like to assume as well that they must have like drilled a couple of holes in his nose so the steam come out of it. Because it
Yeah,
would have had to have some holes in it, otherwise it would just explode, surely.
true. I think it must have had the hole with the mouth for the screams.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brazen bull was specifically designed to amplify the screams of its victims as they burnt alive. Due to the acoustic apparatus, those screams sounded to the listener like the deep bellowing of a bull.
Well, you'd forget very quickly.
It's not, I mean, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember the names of the two people that, because there was like a person in charge of
Yeah.
Greece at that time, and there was the creator. And folklore says that the creator was the first person to suffer the hands of the bull. Apparently,
What? He
yeah,
tried it
man.
out.
No, apparently, so I can't remember the names, but I know it starts with P. In
Apparently.
charge got people to make these torture devices, and he was particularly cruel. And this person came up with the brazen bull, and he said to him, "Get inside and show me how it how it all works." So he got inside, and as he got inside, he shut the lid, locked it, and then lit the fire. So
Ugh.
it's a folklore thing. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but it's there. It's out there. In
Yeah. And one of the things I read that Saint Eustace and his wife and kids were allegedly killed via this method by Emperor Hadrian.
Blimey.
That's one of the one documented cases that they think is true.
Okay. Yes. it's grim. Yeah, as you said, there's no way to get away from it. Gravity just puts you at the bottom.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
it's like heating up. It's like,
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to breathe because of how hot the air was, and then you'd be breathing and all that in, that'd be hurting all your lungs as well, and then you're just getting slowly cooked alive.
I mean, getting burnt on a cooker or a tray is bad enough
Yeah,
with my finger. You walk around for 2 weeks, going, "Oh, look, I've got a burn."
yeah, yeah. Fuck that. I see something similar in a film, but not quite like encased in a ball. But there was this guy who owed someone money, and what they did was they laid him down, tied him to a table, opened his shirt, and they put a rat in a metal bucket on his stomach, and then got a blowtorch, and then blowtorched the bucket. So then, as it got hot, the rat's looking for a way out, and it ate its way through it.
Just ignores its way through his stomach.
Yeah, so it's like a similar technique, but
Yeah, just the rats burning, and then he
yeah,
just poor git. Yeah, that ain't good either. But yeah, the brazen ball just sounds like a bad way to end your life.
yeah,
So we'll get on to the second. Number two is the Judas Cradle. The Judas
yeah. I'd never
Cradle.
heard of this one before.
Oh, no, I've never heard of it. I'll be honest. It's also known as the Judas Chair or the Guiding Cradle.
Mm.
Was a torture device that, despite there being evidence that the Judas Cradle existed and was used in carnival sideshows before the 16th century, the torture device is most often associated with the Spanish Inquisition, but it was generally an Italian invention. It took advantage of the forces of gravity to torture its victims in the most delicate of places.
But yeah,
So, yes, how you ask? Well,
yeah. The pictures of it is like is some contraption with chains and ropes and
but the actual thing just looks pretty. It does look pretty simple. Like the actual.
yeah, it's just like a pyramid, like almost like one of the Egyptian needles.
Yeah. It's the Judas Cradle was a heavy pyramid-shaped device made of wood. The main part consisted of a wooden stake that pointed upwards, caped with a sharp pointed tip. This was supported typically on four sides by wooden beams to help the stake be held in the upright position. Before being tortured, the victim would have their hands and feet tied together so that they were unable to shift their weight easily. Then, using a series of ropes and pulleys, the torturer would lower the victim down onto the Judas cradle. Yes, lower him down where?
Yeah,
Uh,
not the best place.
not the best places. So, yes, to increase the pain inflicted on their victim, the torturer would add weights to the victim's legs. By doing this, they increased the effects of gravity, shoving the tip of the stake further into the victim's private parts. So, so it's
So
like,
you're
go on.
essentially just getting pulled apart. Like
Yeah.
it's just splitting you in two, basically,
Yes. The tip of it into the person's.
into the arsehole.
Oh, I was going to say rectum, but into the arsehole. Or maybe if it's a woman, if it's a woman, it could be in other
Yeah,
parts. Yes, into there, and then just your normal weight of gravity holds it down. But then to get worse, just put
yeah, to add extra weight to it.
weights in
That must
it.
have been if the executioner was in a rush. He's like, "I gotta get
Go get
on."
on. Well, to be honest, I don't know how long the methods would that method would take to um split a person because it's like you sit them on there and it could have been
It
on
could
there
be
for
wild.
yeah
Uh,
days.
assume it'd be like internal bleeding situation.
True. Yeah, and then just weights on it and you just splitting open like a I don't know what like.
I would assume you'd have to do something pretty bad to get this one.
Well, you never know. It was the Spanish
Yeah,
Inquisition. They
yeah.
they didn't
They were notoriously lenient people.
yeah. They were- Yeah, and the torture device was most associated with the Spanish Inquisition, as I said. But it was a Italian invention, apparently. It's harsh and no, this is a podcast about the dark side of humanity, the torture devices. So yes, it's
Yeah, that one is really rough.
but it's rough, but it's sort of the one before the brazen ball was it was inventive, but it was this one is
Yeah,
just like it's
at
pretty.
least at least you were sort of away from people seeing you inside the ball, whereas tradition you were just sat on a pedestal
Yeah.
wa- watching you get split in half.
Agony.
Yeah, there's no way you're coming out of that with any dignity.
No, everything's falling out. Falling out of your arse. Literally. Yeah, man. Yes, that's harsh.
Yeah,
Uh,
no thanks.
no, thank you. Next, number three. Commonly known as scathism or the tub or the boats.
Yeah.
It is a method of execution that straddled the thin line between cruelty and sadism. Yes, it wasn't merely a form of physical torment, but a diabolical orchestration of prolonged suffering. This took a long time. Uh,
Yeah.
it was it originated in Persia. It involves confining the victim within two hollowed out boats or wooden containers. They are shaped to fit the contours of a human body while leaving the victim's head, hands, and feet exposed. These containers were sealed together. This restricted their movement and left them helpless. To add insult to injury, the gruesome process began with the victim being force fed a mixture of honey and milk. This sticky concoction was also smeared all over the exposed parts of the victim's body. The force feeding inevitably led to the victims defecating on themselves and filling the containers with excrement. This this disgusting combination invited swarms of insects, including flies, wasps, and even rodents,
Wow.
which is not great. The unfortunate victim becomes a living, breathing buffet for the relentless onslaught of vermin. It was a horrifying spectacle where insects not only feast upon the external wounds, but also enter the body. Victims also experience the torment of dehydration, malnutrition, and infection, all while being devoured from the inside out.
Yeah. That is got to be one of the worst. You just essentially left to shoot yourself and be eaten alive by rats and bugs and
You just can't move. Can you imagine? Yeah, obviously being force fed milk and honey, and then
yeah.
just the waste and the obviously probably throw up as well, and
Yeah, and then
it's
you got
just
to think of all the infections and like
just
it would
attracts
just be.
everything.
It's just like apparently the first historical mention of like escapism was found in Plutarch's Life of Atraxes, where he claims to have seen a king killed by the boats.
It's just a prolonged torture method that you just become a a part of nature, I suppose. You become
Yeah, yeah.
you just
You're
eat
just getting fed back to the land.
yeah. Yeah, man. Just the flies laying stuff on you. You can imagine because it's
Yeah.
got. We said the previous torture device has got to take long, but this has to take longer. Surely, this is just you being submitted to the elements.
Yeah, so in his account of it, that he saw, he said, when the man is manifestly dead, the uppermost boat being taken off, they find his flesh devoured and swarms of such noisome creatures prey upon, as it is growing into his inwards.
Oh, you do.
In
You just
this way, Mithridates, after suffering for 17 days, died.
for 17 days. God, just being stuck there for 17 days and having
Yeah.
every sort of animal. I mean, in Persia as well. So there's this
Yeah, the heat.
the heat, the flies, the rats, and you can't do nothing about it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
it's got to be one of the worst techniques ever, and it's again sort of the simplicity of it is there, but it's just one of the worst, isn't
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing good about that.
it? It wouldn't
Because at
even
least
be
with some of them, it would be relatively quick.
wouldn't even be like just them animals that described it. It would just be everything, would it? Everything would be
Yeah, all any bugs would just be all over it.
yeah, just
Birds, I would assume, would come down.
yeah. I don't know if they had crows in Persia, but
Yeah, yeah.
that
Vultures, maybe.
yeah, I'd be definitely be on it. But yeah, that ain't good. It's just no good.
No, no.
No good. Not for me. Well, not for anyone. Depravity of the human psyche. It could just so
Yeah,
happen the way
it
we've
must have been a proper sick bastard to come up with that.
the way we've just humanity through history have just come up with ways to torture each other. It's,
Yeah,
I suppose it's seen as a gift for some people back in the day.
yeah. And then for it to happen to a king allegedly as well.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah.
That was the boats of the tub. Next is a method of torture or execution used most often in ancient medieval times, and it is known as flaying. Flaying occurs when a person's skin is removed. Just that
Yeah,
gives
just
you shivers.
unzipped.
Just that gives you shivers. Yeah, flaying was most popular in the African and Asian countries centuries ago, though instances were found in most parts of the world. A prisoner was tied, stretched out, with their hands over their head and their feet together, normally starting with the face. The torturer
Oh.
would use a small knife to peel the skin off the body, hopefully in one solid piece.
Ugh.
This process was very slow and painful. The victims usually died before the torturer had flayed them to the waist.
Ugh.
Fucking waist.
Imagine how long it would take to get down to there.
Oh no, man! I think it'll die usually by the time it gets to the neck. No,
Yeah.
waist. Sometimes the victims were left in the sun or boiled in hot water first to make the skin remove easier.
I mean, I can actually attest to that because doing trying with cooking with pork, sometimes you pour boiling water over it so you can get peel the skin up. So I wonder if that's where that technique comes from.
So basically, you've been flaying.
Yeah, I've been flaying some pork shoulders.
Yeah, that's. I mean, blimey, just you could get a small knife and make incisions down, obviously, the skull and face, and then just start.
Yeah, slowly peeling it off.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like they do it like with the knife and peel it off, or someone's just there
Yeah, whether
ripping it
they're
really
slowly
hard, like
hacking. Yeah,
like
because
having a
you'd think
wisdom,
it would.
like having a wisdom tooth out when
Oh, no
they pull
painkillers
it,
either.
pulling your wisdom tooth, but they're pulling your skin. But that, yeah, most victims died when it got down to the waist. I mean, that's what would you even look like?
Is that front and back, or is
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't.
it?
I'm assuming it's the front.
Yeah,
Yeah, the loss of blood, the just passing out of just pain, I suppose. I'm sure
yeah,
you have to pass out
intense
at some
pain.
point. The idea was to do it as a whole.
What did they do with it?
I don't
They
know.
hang it up somewhere.
Who's the serial killer who used to wear people's skins?
Is it Ed Gein?
Ed Gein, that was it.
Yeah,
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 that was
Slayer,
it.
and Dead Skin Mask.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's But he used to do it. Oh, I'm assuming he used to do it when they were dead.
Yeah.
I've definitely done it when they were alive. I don't know too much about
Yeah,
serial
no.
killer Ed.
Apart
Yes,
from the song.
yeah, right from the song. But yes, it is again, it's sort of a simplistic view on torture, but harsh.
Yeah. Apparently the first recorded case in the UK was in 1991 AD, where a Viking was flayed for ransacking a church.
Blimey, that's up there with the blood eagle. They
Yeah.
used to do like, you do the blood eagle, we do this, mate. We can skin
Yeah,
you
you
alive.
get skinned a lot.
Oh yes, yeah. Just to play again, just like being in the brazen ball, just burning when you cut yourself, didn't you? And it hurts. It's
Yeah.
like, it hurts. And just imagine just being laid down and knowing it's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to
it's
sit
like,
and wait and hope you pass out.
they're being put in the sun or boiled
Oh.
before. I mean, that's even
Yeah,
harsher.
dipped in boiling water.
Yes. I suppose laying in the sun. It's not doing it with
But
sunburn. It's even worse.
yeah, yeah. It's like at that point, does it really matter?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's not good. Flying. No one needs it.
No, I'm not surprised it's not around anymore.
The onto the fifth and final one of this first part of these execution and torture devices or techniques rather um is hanged, drawn, and quartered. I think us being in for England, we've definitely heard of this before. Well, I
Yeah, we
have.
liked a bit of that back in the days.
And yes, this was an English invention.
Yeah,
Um, the
best in the
draw,
world.
the best in the world. English torture techniques, Eddie, best in the world. Yes, yes, the drawing part actually comes first, and it involves the convict being tied to a type of sled that's drawn or dragged behind a horse all the way from the prison to the gallows. For for many centuries, that journey was a full 3 miles from Newgate Prison in London to Tyburn. So yeah, 3 miles down the road. I mean,
Yeah,
surely there could be loads that just died from that.
you would
Just,
think so, wouldn't
you'd
you?
think
Like,
so.
but
I
they just
mean,
went through with the whole thing anyway for the show.
yeah, I suppose in them times it wasn't a concrete jungle like it is now. So it was
No, so yeah,
going through mud and sludge and
yeah.
everyone throwing shit at you.
I'm sure there was a few rocks in the road.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yes, it was. Yeah, probably as the 3 miles took, it was a good 3 hour drag.
Fucking hell.
And the streets would have been packed with riotous crowds, jeering and throwing garbage at the poor sap as he prepared to meet his maker.
It's, so it was like the original Super Sunday. It's like
Yeah. If it weren't
everyone's
worse,
lining the streets.
if it weren't worse, you're getting dragged, you're getting garbage thrown at you. God knows what. Cabbages. Uh,
Yeah.
Shame. After being dragged to Tyburn, the condemned man or woman, I suppose, I don't know if this was just a
Male thing.
thing.
I
Yeah,
assume it
man.
would be both.
Yeah, human was hung from a rope from the gallows or a tall ladder, but not dropped to the necessary distance to snap his neck. After a few terrifying minutes of near asphyxiation, I can never say that word. Yeah, asphyxiation. The man was cut down while only mostly dead.
Mostly.
Mostly did.
You'd be hoping you'd be dead by this point.
You was often being dragged 3 hours, and then yeah, just so hung and just until the point of where you die and you think, oh, it's over now, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, cut that from back.
Yeah. Get him down. Bring him back.
Fucking hell. Just end it already. It does say at this point, a lot of people did lose consciousness and die. Exactly how many, we'll never know.
Yeah.
But there were lots of instances where people would did die if they hung them too much, or they just
Yeah.
a body
That
just
must
give
have
up.
happened quite a lot, you would think.
You would you just give up, and it was like your body's like, nah, no more. The final step of hanging, drawing, and quartering was to cut off the condemned man's head and then quarter his remaining corpse by carving it into four pieces. According to graphic medieval drawings, that basically meant cutting off the arms and legs.
That bit seems a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like we've gone this far. It's like, do we really need to do this?
Yes, and then the severed limbs were parboiled in a blend of spices designed to preserve the flesh for as long as possible. That's because the dead man's body parts would next be taken on a publicity tour that lets everyone know what happened to people who challenge the authority of the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was mainly used for treason, it seems.
I mean, I suppose he was effective.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I definitely would have thought twice about saying something bad about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
You just see the geezer being dragged
Yeah.
3 hours and then hung hung to the point
Hung
of
to the
death
point of death.
and then chopped up.
Yeah. Is that would be effective, I think.
I think it would be the effective deterrent
Yeah.
in this, especially in this modern day of knife crime.
Yeah.
What a
I
deterrent!
reckon people would be saying a lot less bad things about the king now if they brought that back.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to touch on as well is you have all these techniques and whatever, but you also have obviously the people or the person inflicted it.
Yeah,
Um,
there's always got to be someone who's carrying it out.
yeah, and obviously they were paid to.
Yeah.
What is the psyche of the or the mind of the person that inflicts these things on behalf of
Yeah, the crown.
royalties or the crown? Not obviously not just England, but all around the world. So it's a
Yeah, it would have to take a certain type of person to be able to do
definitely definitely not.
it.
You got someone, you put them in some boiling water or leave them in the sun, and then you start skinning them. It's
Yeah.
like while they're
And
alive.
you got to go home for dinner later. It's like, oh, I don't really fancy this stew
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. What you doing? Flaying the
Yeah.
pork?
Yeah, oh, good. It's just like being back at work because I ain't doing it.
Yeah, man, it takes a yeah. It must take a certain individual to do it. I mean, their mindset was probably different medieval times or and
Yeah,
forward
it would have
until.
been.
I mean, does it get? Is it just seen as a job? Like
Yeah, I assume it would have been.
most of us just go and do our 9 to 5 or whatever you do.
Or in places like Saudi Arabia now, they still have people doing it.
True, yeah, they do have
Executioners.
that's it, the executionist that but in obviously probably more places than that, just
Yeah.
all the places in the world. But yeah, back at the time, I mean, there's that, but this, I don't know. To me, this seems like it was on a regular. It was a regular thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems
It
that you
wasn't just a one-off.
no, it wasn't like oh the person that's gone. I mean, did they even the courts and whatever? I don't think if you condemn, you just condemn, didn't
Yeah. I don't think there was no appeals.
you? Oops. What if they were wrong afterwards?
Yeah, exactly. There's that new evidence to come out. It's like, oh, well.
We can't do nothing now. Take his body parts off display then.
Yeah. It's one of the things I read as well is that it was only abolished in 1870
Hmm.
by law.
But it's not. in the grand scheme
That's
of things,
not really that long away.
that's not that long ago. What's that Victorian?
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. I mean, it's when Americans were cowboys.
Yeah. I don't know how often it was used that late into it, but it was only
No,
taken out of law.
I mean we still. I think England still had hanging till the 60s, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I may be wrong there. I have to have it up and fact check it, but I'm pretty sure like the last person was hanged in the 60s. I think
Yeah.
that's just a random thing off the top of my head. If I'm wrong, shout. No, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was, and I believe no, but I think it was a woman who was the last person hanged. But
Oh, really?
I'm not 100% sure of that. It's just
Well, you think of places like America, like they're still killing people regularly in prison systems with lethal injections.
lethal injections. Yeah, not it's not in every state. I think
No,
I think it's lots of the southern states that have it, don't they? Like,
yeah, it seems like they're the most likely to do it,
yeah, again,
but it's not. That's a form of torture and execution.
it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I suppose it is a deterrent. I don't know the whole the whole thing of the death penalty. I think is still said yes or no divides opinions around the world anyway.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
you can see good arguments for and against it. I think.
yeah, but yes, they were five extremely harsh torture techniques that have been used throughout history, and that was only part one because
Yeah,
there are many.
there's
So
more to
there's
come.
more to go. So yes, hope you enjoyed listening to it, and if you still listen now, if you've got, I'll put it out on social media. If you've got any suggestions or you know of any very harsh punishments, please let us know because we'd like to talk about
Yeah.
them and incorporate it and give you a shout out on the show. So whoever
Yeah, who's
rec
got the best idea?
yeah recommended this torture device, if anything's worse than the boats, like just being left
Yeah.
to nature, I think that's for me. I mean, flaying's bad. I mean, it's simplistic and as bad as it is like getting your skin off, but that is not going to take, as you said, like 17 days.
17 days. Yeah.
Ah, fuck. That's not going to take that. Thank you all for listening to us rapping on about torture devices and torture techniques, rather.
Yeah.
Um, we shall be back for the next one.
Sweet. See you
Sweet.
later.
See you later.